Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, the Social Security Administration makes another DOGE switch at CIO. And federal workers at least one agency have tried to use Chinese AI platform Deepseek. It's Monday, June 30th, 2025. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's dive into the day's top headlines. The Social Security Administration has moved on to its third chief information officer of the Trump administration, tapping yet another individual with Department of Government Efficiency affiliations. According to an update of CIO.gov, a federal page that features IT leaders in the government, Aram Moghaddassi has taken over as SSA's top IT official after previously working at the agency in a different role. Moghaddassi, who has also worked at the Labor Department, was at one point given access to IT systems at U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, FedScoop previously reported. Per his LinkedIn profile, Moghaddassi previously worked for two Elon Musk-owned companies, the social media platform X and Neuralink. Moghaddassi is at least the third DOGE associate to be named CIO at SSA since President Donald Trump took office in January. Mike Russo, a former CIO at Oracle and the payments processing company Shift4, was installed in the position in early February, an agency spokesperson told FedScoop. And in March, the agency appointed Scott Coulter, a former private equity analyst, to the role. Coulter was listed as CIO on the agency's org chart as recently as late May, but that page is now blank, aside from listing Frank Bisignano as Social Security's commissioner. In other news, by and large, people don't seem to be trying to access technology created by Deepseek, the Chinese AI firm that's rattled leading U.S. AI companies and lawmakers on government systems. But it has happened at least once at a federal civilian agency. Since January, there's been one attempt to access Deepseek at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, a spokesperson for the agency confirmed to FedScoop. The USDA successfully prevented access to the technology and has blocked Deepseek through Microsoft's Defender for Cloud Application Service since January 28th. Deepseek is banned along with other public AI sites based on risk levels that Microsoft provides in its Defender applications, the person said. The agency did not say whether there were attempts to access the technology before the block was implemented. Lawmakers are increasingly concerned about Deepseek, a Chinese-based large language model developer that threatens the dominance of American AI companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. In the view of many federal officials, the company's technology raises serious security concerns. Last Wednesday, lawmakers proposed the No Adversarial AI Act, which would ban the use of Deepseek on government devices, create a registry of foreign adversary AI systems, and establish a method for these technologies to be delisted. There have been other proposals to both ban Deepseek on government devices and bar its use by federal contractors. When Deepseek first came out, the Office of the Federal CIO conducted a very informal review that involved some White House staff reaching out to a number of federal agencies to determine if the technology was being used. However, nothing significant came of that process, according to a former White House AI official. And another source said they hadn't received anything from the federal CIO's office on Deepseek's use. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit FedScoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.